everyone and welcome to February's TBR Assemble. If you don't know what TBR Assemble is, it is my monthly TBR game based around the Avengers. I'll leave a link up above to my original video where I explain all of the rules and everything else, and with that, let's get into it. Today's little thing is going to be Peggy Carter because I love her and I just want to show her off, quite frankly. So, roll 1 is a 3, so 1, 2, 3, blue. Pick one of these middle ones, I think, and that is T'Challa, which is a diverse author. My first prompt was T'Challa, which is to read a diverse author, and I should probably also mention that I'm doing Blackathon and also Graphics-a-thon this month. But anyway, my first prompt was T'Challa, and for this I'm going to be reading Raybearer, and this one is also counting for the Blackathon prompt of a book between 312 and 387 pages, because this comes in at 368, so it just scraped through. It's also on my priority list for the year as well, which Abby has now challenged me to read all in its entirety before July, so it's also counting off that one as well, so I'm very excited. I've heard people raving about this book and I just cannot wait to read it. Roll number 2 is a 1, so orange fanfiction. Roll number 3 is a 6, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Orange again, so we move over to 30 because we've already got fanfiction on here, and that is purple. So let's go over here into this clump, and I'm going to go for this one, and that is Yelena, which is a book about siblings. My next prompt was fanfiction, but obviously I don't tell you what I'm doing in fanfiction because I don't know yet. I like to mood read it, but my next actual prompt was Yelena, which is to read a book about siblings. So I'm going for Amari and the Knight brothers, because this is all about Amari after her brother goes missing. So even though her brother, as far as I know, is not physically in this book, it is still very much about siblings. And this is also, I'm hoping, going to be counting for the prompt of between loyalty and betrayal. If not, I'm hoping one of my comics is going to deal with that prompt. But either way, so excited to read this one. Abby has been shouting at me to read this for several weeks now, and everyone and their mother has read this one, and I am so excited to finally read this. This is going to be my first read of February to make sure I definitely read it, because I've had it on like 4 separate TBRs now, and it's about time I got to it. Roll number 4 is a 4, so we want 1, 2, 3, 4, purple again. And I'm going to go for this centre clump here, and I'm going to pick this one, and that is Nebula from the priority list. My next prompt was Nebula, which is to read a book off the priority list, which is very nice because obviously I'm trying to get through the priority list. So for that I'm going for Lost in the Neverwoods. This one is a Peter Pan retelling where Wendy and her brothers got lost in the woods years ago. She cannot remember what happened and her brothers are still missing, and she ends up needing Peter's help to try and sort out the problem. And also, can we just appreciate as well that my Nebula card also matches this cover in colours? I'm really pleased with that, quite frankly. It was part of the reason why I chose it this month. But I am so excited to read this one. Again, I've heard amazing things about Aidan Thomas as an author, and I've heard more good things about Cemetery Boys, but this is the one I own. It's also getting another retelling off my list, which I really want to do as well this year. So it's a 3 for 3 on this, and I'm so excited to read this one as well. I'm excited to read all of my TBR, but this one has definitely been a priority for a while. Roll number 5 is another 4. I seem to be very good at throwing 4s today. 1, 2, 3, 4, yellow. This one. That is Miss Marvel, which is a nerdy character. My next prompt was Miss Marvel, which is to read a nerdy character. So I'm going to be starting the Cute Mutant series, which again is also on the priority list. This one is about a bunch of nerds who end up with powers and they're obsessed with the X-Men, and I'm like, same! And literally the final line of the synopsis is, Magneto, help us. I'm a Magneto nerd, so I'm just completely here for this. I cannot wait. I've heard there's a ton of like representation in here, especially for LGBTQIA plus characters. I've heard it's a really fun read. I love superheroes. I'm so excited to read this. And then my final roll is a 2. So 1, 2, if I don't go the wrong way. Orange again, so that's fan fiction, so we go over 1 more and go up to green. And I'm gonna pick over here, and that is Peggy, which is an older comic. And then my final prompt was Peggy, which is to read an older comic, so I'm going to be going for The Wicked and the Divine. And this series is following a whole group of gods who get reincarnated every couple of years, and this time they are rock stars. I basically know nothing else about this further than the fact that it's hugely hyped and everybody absolutely loves it, but I have never read it, so it's about time I got to it, and I cannot wait. And obviously that is not the end. Now I'm going to mention one more book that I need to read this month, and then I'm going into the graphics-a-thon stuff. So the other book I need to read is Skullduggery Pleasant's Seasons of War. This is the 13th book in the Skullduggery Pleasant series, which is about Skullduggery Pleasant, who is a magical skeleton detective, and his partner Valkyrie Kane as they try to save the world from various magical threats. I can't tell you much else further than that because obviously this is the 13th book in the series, but this is part of the Dead Famous read-along like it always is, and I am ridiculously excited because the last book was a cliffhanger, to say the least. Just the cliffhanger in that book was ridiculous, quite frankly, and there was a whole load of them. There was like 4 or 5 plot twists and cliffhangers all in one go, essentially, so I am desperate to get to this one, and it's definitely going to be a priority this month, like it always is, but so excited. And that's going to total 113 pages a day to try and finish, but obviously that's not where this is ending because Graphics-a-thon is happening, and Graphics-a-thon is going to be a month-long challenge throughout the month of February where we've got to try and read 28 graphic novels in 28 days, right? Or at least read a bit of a graphic novel every single day. And I went, I don't pause my graphic novels, I start them and then I finish them in one great big go. Woe betide anybody who interrupts me in the middle of it. So I'm going to try and read 28 graphic novels in 28 days, despite the fact that I said that I wanted to read more novels this year. I've got, no, I'm going to read 28 graphic novels in the month of February, and then start mainlining Moon Knight, and obviously all the Doctor Strange stuff, and all the rest of it when Marvel starts releasing stuff again in April. So, I have a tentative list for Graphics-a-thon. Like, I've got a list of some of the stuff I want to read. This is not set in stone. I may decide that I want to pick something else up. I don't know. But this is my current sort of plan for Graphics-a-thon, I guess. I'm going to start with a couple of things that are on my must-read list. The first one is the obvious, and that is Dawn of X. This is the latest X-Men run. I have been absolutely loving it, but also reading it incredibly slowly. And one of my goals is to catch up this year. And quite frankly, Graphics-a-thon is giving me the perfect excuse to get to that goal of getting to at least 10 of Swords this year. So what I'm going to be doing is trying to finish Dawn of X. I think I've got 6, maybe 7, maybe 8 left, I think. So that can be sort of done reasonably easily, I guess you could say. So I'm going to try and blast through those. I may also read 10 of Swords. I don't know. I'll see how I feel. But either way, I will be finished with Dawn of X by the end of the month because I'm determined. And then for my birthday, I can then treat myself to Reign of X, which is the next bit in this saga. So, I mean, there's an ulterior motive, but at the same time, I do love this series. Cannot wait to finally finish it. Finally, after like 2 years. I've then also got the new X-Men. This one is the series with like the Ghost of Cyclops, and it's sort of like the fallout of the young X-Men being brought into the sort of present tense of the X-Men at the time this was being released. It's obviously nothing to do with Dawn of X or anything else, but time-travelling X-Men, essentially. I read the first one this month in January, so I want to continue the series. I've got like 3 more there, I think, and then I don't know if that wraps up this series or not. I think it does. I'm not entirely sure, but either way, I'll finish that run as well, so that'd be quite nice. I'm also going to read whatever comes through from the library. Obviously, I don't know what's coming through from the library. I know I've got volume 5 of My Hero Academia. That's the only one I know at the moment I will be reading, but if anything else comes through, I'll also be reading that. Obviously, there's also The Wicked and the Divine volume 1, because that's on my main TBR. I'm also putting Once and Future on this list as well, because that is the other comic on my priority list for 2022, so I may as well whack it out now. This one is about monster hunters and something to do with Arthurian legend, and that's all I know, that's all I want to know. I'm very excited. I also want to restart Rat Queens because I read Rat Queens volumes like really far apart, so I keep on forgetting what happens, quite frankly. So what I'm going to do is start from the beginning and try to go through up to volume 6, which is up to where I own, and then I'll probably see if I want volume 7. Probably will, to be fair, but we'll see what happens. But either way, I want to read the first 6 in the Rat Queen series, which is about a group of female mercenaries and in this sort of magical world, essentially. It's absolutely brilliant. I love it, so very excited to go back to the beginning and reread the entire thing so I can sort of remember entirely what happened. There's also Fables. This is a retelling series where it's sort of like Once Upon a Time but for adults, in the sense that all these fairy tale characters have been chucked out of fairyland and are now in New York, but they remember who they are, and quite frankly a lot of them are not like they are in the original tales. So very excited to continue on with this. I think I've only got 2 or 3 volumes that I own that I haven't read yet, but I want to continue on with the series because, again, this is a perfect time to do it. I also want to continue on with Low. I've only got the 2nd volume of this after the 1st one, and obviously I've read the 1st one, so I want to continue on with this series. So this is a sort of sci-fi dystopian kind of thing. I really enjoyed the 1st one, so very excited to read the 2nd one. I also have Bitter Root. This one is about a family of monster hunters. I love Monster Hunters, quite frankly, and I've heard really good things about this, so I want to read this one. I think it's a standalone, which is even better because I'm not really supposed to be starting new series, but hopefully I'll have finished a couple of others. But either way, want to read Bitter Root. There's also The Banks, which is about a family who do heists. Again, I'm here for it, quite frankly, so very excited to read this one, and again, I think it's a standalone. I've also got Fantastic Four. This one is a series that I've been reading on and off for about a year now. It makes me feel like a kid again because it's so happy and funny and cheesy, even though it does also deal with a lot of like darker topics as well. It's just fun to read though. It is just plain fun to read, so that's why I'm going to continue it, hopefully. But at the same time, it may also include me then reading the Empire event as well, which is fine. I will do that because I really wanted to read that anyway, but we'll see how timing goes and what I feel like. I'd also quite like to finish Gwenpool if I can. I think I've only got 2 volumes of that left as well. They're really easy reads. I find Gwenpool to be a really relatable character because she's essentially what would happen if I got sucked into the Marvel Universe, in the sense that massive nerd gets put into Marvel Universe, attempts to become a superhero, generally fangirls. Love it, and I'm thinking I may need like a lighter read at some point, so Gwenpool will definitely be useful there. I also tentatively have Storm on this list because it's all about Storm. I really love Storm. I haven't read anything of hers, which is solo, so I definitely want to give it a go if I get the chance. I also wouldn't mind reading a bit of Daredevil because Daredevil, he's one of my favourites. Recently my love for him has been reignited for several reasons I can't say, but just I love him. Essentially, I love Matt Murdock with all of my heart. I miss him, I miss Foggy, I miss Karen, I miss the lot of them. I do not have time to rewatch the TV series right now, so the next best thing is reading some of the comics. So if I can, I'd quite like to read maybe Brian Michael Bendis' run on Daredevil, but again, we'll see what happens. Again, it's dependent on time. And then finally, the final thing I'm tentatively putting on this list is Aphrodite IX. Now, I'm not entirely happy with the sexist cover, but this one is essentially about an assassin who can't remember anything, sort of like Bloodshot, essentially. So I may swap this out for Bloodshot, I don't know, but either way, I've had this one on my list for a very long time now. I've got several spin-offs from this series as well, so it's about time I read it. And that is absolutely everything. I know I'm biting off a lot, but I love graphic novels and I like to push myself, quite frankly, so yeah. I'm also thinking, actually, while I think about it, I'm thinking of either vlogging this or doing a daily TikTok / reel on Instagram and obviously TikTok with each review of each comic as I read it. So if you have any preferences on that, please let me know down below because I'm trying to sort out what I'm doing. So if you've got any preferences, let me know down below so I can make a decision here. But with that, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. Comment down below, tell me which I should do for this month. Should I vlog all of my graphic novels, or should I do daily TikToks or reels? Let me know down below. Or if you don't have that much time, leave me a book related emoji down below to let me know that you were here. I'll also leave a link down below to all my social media if you want to check it out, including to the comic book sanctum, which I may also do some features on for all of this because I may as well use it for content somewhere at the very least. Or if you are more into books, I'll also leave a link link down below to my Redbubble and Etsy store, which sells bookish merch and bookish bullet journal stuff if you are interested in that. Or if you just want to see any more of my videos, please click subscribe here, and over here will be the link to my previous video. But until next time everyone, bye!